Hi guys, it's Antphrodite, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. So apparently Ryland Adams had a tarot reader on his podcast, The Sip, and I'm sad that it wasn't me, but hopefully one day it will be. But I'm going to go ahead and blind react to the video and give you my opinion, and you're going to get a little bit of a psychic reacts. If you guys like this series, I'll do more of it, the psychic react series. Feel free to send me stuff you want me to react to if you like it. So let's get started.
But we do have a treat, something we've been wanting to do for a very long time, which is have a tarot card reading.
Yes.
So Lizzie, I think you should.
Y'all wanted this for a long time and y'all didn't call me up. What? I would have loved to have done this. Okay, it's okay.
Do the honors in introducing our lovely guest.
This is Danica.
Are you literally just gonna? You can't even memorize.
I'm very nervous.
All right, come on, shoot it off.
Danica rose to notoriety with her incredibly classy, in-depth, and I mean deep depth dives into comic book classics and their modern cinematic adaptations. Sorry, my heart is fluttering. She recently returned to her YouTube channel with a breakdown/review of WandaVision, where she also discussed her interpretations of the show's occult connections. She's also spawned multiple comic book clubs, helping keep nerds sane through the pandemic. She's an artist and an aficionado, though I'm not entirely sure what that word means. She's brilliant, incredibly hardworking, and cat mom to the testy, opinionated, though soft-spoken beans. Please join me in welcoming Danica!
Oh wait, so she's not a psychic? I'm confused. So she's like really into film, and comic books and stuff. So she like more of like nerd culture. I thought it was a psychic. Okay. I'm a bit confused. I like the outfit though.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so nervous.
I have some questions.
Yes.
Well, I know Lizzie has some questions too, but I'm terrified of tarot cards. Lizzie,
I've never had the port
okay,
before.
give it to me. It's like she's having an out-of-body experience.
I'm very nervous.
I know. I caught Lizzie's like writing her introduction this morning on the document, and it's like 2 pages long. I'm like, Lizzie, we don't have the whole podcast to give an introduction, but we're
That ring though.
very grateful you're here.
Yes.
How did you get into tarot card reading?
I watched a lot of horror movies growing up. I love horror movies, and so like tarot cards were featured in a lot of horror movies.
Okay.
And I was always just like so taken by these images that are just like so interesting and like packed with meaning, but you don't know exactly what they mean, but like they're definitely speaking to you. Later, fast forward to me moving to California, I end up going to the Psychic Eye bookstore, and they had a 10-week class. And
Wow.
so, you know.
Oh, okay. So she's someone that really liked tarot cards, was definitely drawn to them, inspired to them, especially the artwork. And then she joined a class to learn about it. Okay. So it's more like something she's learning, in the process of learning, and a hobby for her. So she's just a tarot card reader. She's not a psychic. So like the difference between, me and sometimes like people who just have a deck is like I have a strong intuition. I guess that's probably the simplest way to put it. And so, okay, so she's new. That's exciting. I will say kudos to her. She has a lot of balls to be on this podcast in front of everyone and giving a reading. It takes a lot of courage. So I'm proud of her for that, especially as a newbie. Good for her.
Every Tuesday I showed up. It was $10 a class, and then I learned
$10 a class. That sounds a little cheap. How much could they really teach you for $10 a class? I don't know. That's a little sus.
I don't know, maybe like 9 years ago, and then I've just been studying on my own ever since then. But that really gave
Oh, that was 9 years ago? Okay.
me my start, and I learned really well in a classroom setting, so that worked for me. But yeah, and I've been reading tarot ever since. I've made like all of my like major business decisions and things like that. I always consult the cards.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
They've never steered me wrong. They don't always tell me what I want to hear.
Right.
See, and that's what I'm most terrified about, and that's why I'm so happy that Lizzie's fine doing a tarot card reading, because I'm afraid of tarot cards in the same way I don't read my daily astrology, because I feel like it can curse my day, and I just don't want to know if I'm cursed. Like, let me be cursed, fine. I mean, I don't want to be cursed.
He
but
wants to be obliviously cursed.
Okay. Does that mean that he doesn't get a reading then? Does she just give the reading to Lizzie? Because I'm confused. So like Ryland should not be scared of tarot. And I feel like a lot of people have a misconception about tarot. It's literally just there to help. If anything, tarot kind of shows you the energy that's around you. So if there's a hard thing that you see, or a hard situation, or a tough situation, or a dramatic situation, or drama, whatever, it shows you the best course of action to deal with that. And a lot of times it's like, hey, I see this happening. Here's what you can do to avoid that. That's kind of how it works. Or here's how you may not be able to avoid, like, let's say you pull a tower, you're like, I can't avoid that, but here's what I can do to soften the blow. Or here's how you can be prepared for that when it happens. I think sometimes people build it up in their head a little bit bigger than it really is. If you are an overthinker, then tarot sometimes really gets the best of you and you're just like obsessive about it. I'm an underthinker, and I've talked about this before with some of my friends who are overthinkers. There's nothing in my head. I think that's why my intuition works so well, is because I just trust my gut and I don't really have an inner voice. I see in pictures. So when I'm describing something, I always describe what I see in my head. That's why I'm like a very visual person. And like I describe the visuals that I'm seeing, and I use my hands to like form the shapes and stuff. So I'm like an open channel, which I think is kind of the key to what I do. So for me, I don't really understand why people are nervous about stuff like that, but I'm also just not an overthinker. And so I think it's like one of those overthinker things.
What if you live as sneakers if that is...
I'm more impulsive. Like I don't really think about solutions and outcomes and what could or couldn't be that much, to be honest. I just trust my gut.
Written in the cards for me.
You're not alone. You know, my mom, like my sister, like a few of my other friends, like I'm always like, hey, do you want a reading? Or, you know, if they come to me with a problem and they're like, no, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. So, you know, it's not just you. You're not alone.
What if my shit goes real south today?
No,
well, that's what I'm saying.
It's my birthday reading. It's over, bitch. You've had a lot of prosperity this year. Looks like that's coming to a close.
Yeah, it's drying
Everything
up.
you love, dead.
Well, that's what I mean, is like, are you not a little bit fearful of what might be?
No,
because it doesn't really work that way. You're not gonna be like, you're gonna lose all your money and be like forever gone. It doesn't really work that way. Tarot's guidance, so it kind of helps you choose the best decision. It doesn't really make that decision for you.
Oh, I like knowing the end of a movie before I finish it, which drives Bill crazy. I'll be watching a movie and try to guess how it ends, and then I'll just Google the plot points.
And then do you tell the rest of the room?
I have to.
That would frustrate me.
If I'm right about my projection, I do have to let people know. Because what does it matter being right if no one knows?
Right.
I just wanted to know if there were variants in the decks. Like, do you pick a specific deck for a specific thing? Like, knowing that today is my birthday reading, did you pick this deck for that reason? Or
yeah. Well, okay. So I have a lot of different decks.
big deck energy over here.
I've got big deck energy. It's true, and I've even created my own tarot deck.
Oh my gosh.
That I star in.
She's a mogul.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is what I was trying to explain.
Okay, so I'm jealous. I want to make my own deck. Finding the right people to work with and commissioning the art, because I cannot draw, is frustrating. So hey, if anybody wants to make a deck with me, hit me up, because that is definitely something I want to do. But yeah, to answer the question that she asked, you're drawn to certain decks. Certain decks resonate better with you than others. Obviously, I have my bread and butter deck that you guys see all the time, the Crystal Moon deck by Screen Girl Berlin. It's a very magical girl, Sailor Moon inspired deck. I also have the Haunted House, Tarot of the Haunted House, there we go, that I use for my true crime. And then you have your oracles. So oracles and tarot decks are two different things. Tarot decks are the same, 4 suits, wands, swords, cups, and which one am I missing? Pentacles, and then you have like the major arcana. But oracles can be anything, literally anything, say anything. And those are the ones that I always pull in addition. Some of my favorites are the Black Mirror Oracle deck. That one I love. Fairy Oracle I've been using a lot. So, okay, let's keep going.
Many business ventures.
I am. I'm an entrepreneur.
Are we going to use your cards today, or are they too aggressive for?
They might be a little aggro. So I was feeling, like very sexually charged. So I felt like a little odd about that. So I'm just going to go with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is like a good beginner's deck.
Yeah, that's a very basic, like simple imagery.
The deck that I learned on.
Yep.
And I think this is like a great deck for everybody. And most tarot decks are clones of this deck.
Yes.
Like most decks are kind of based off of this one.
Are you ready for your
Do you want me to
fate,
touch
Lizzie?
on them?
Yeah,
My mom used
actually-
to do that, and you're supposed to touch on them.
Yeah, well, some people don't like other people to touch their cards. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. So you can kind of just
So touching the deck, great thing to talk about. Don't touch my cards. It's placebo effect for someone to touch your cards and put the energy in them. It's complete placebo effect. It does nothing. The only thing that it could do is maybe if the person is really negative, maybe it'll make it worse. But like, honestly, it's probably not going to do anything. Don't touch my shit. That's what I always say. I got it. I'm the channel. I'm not even the person getting the information. I'm just the person, or I'm just the tool or the vessel that's being used to think of like the energy comes from outside, goes through me into the cards. So the cards don't really do anything, if that makes sense. They're the tool, the divination tool. So touching the cards is not going to change the channel. Again, information comes in through me to the cards. So it's complete placebo effect.
Shuffle and put your energy in it and just feel it, you know.
I feel like rubbing them on my...
But don't, I'm not into the whole
I can't do that. I can't do that anyways. I can't even do...
That's a no-no for me.
I'm just going to cut it and then put it behind it.
There's tarot etiquette. Don't somebody's cards. I'm down a clown. It's fine.
You like the touching?
Yeah, you know, I like it.
Yeah, because my mom used to say, get your shit all over it. That's not what she would say. Because my mom reads tarot, but I was too little, and I think she would just do it for me to hold still for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So she would read my tarot or paint my nails to get me to hold still.
Oh, I love that.
But you never really listen.
And there's a couple of different spreads we can do.
I got my shit on it and I spread it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get this question a lot myself too. Spreads. I don't use a spread. When I first started out, sure, I think it's great for beginners, especially if you're doing just like past, present, future, or person energy between, or the Celtic cross that a lot of people like that I think is a little bit too complicated. I work in threes. Every 3 cards for me tell a story. That's what works for me. So every single 3 tell a different story. That's why sometimes people will critique me and be like, your cards are messy, or what are you doing? I don't think you just work differently. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think, you know, I've been doing it for long enough to the point where if it works for me, I'm not going to change it.
Okay, so one of the spreads that we could do is like a 7-card spread where it's kind of like a immediate past, present, future situation.
Okay.
I love these. I use them all the time. I have one right now that is just like on my dining room table that I'm just thinking about, and I'll know when I get to like the future part, like something there'll be some sign from the universe. Or we could do like a 12 card kind of spread where we do one for each month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we could be like, oh, this is your theme this month. This is your theme the next month. This is your theme the next month.
Let's do
the 7. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm scared of knowing every month. Make it good.
Okay.
And lie to me if you have to on air, but tell me the bad news when we cut.
And while you're shuffling this out, what percentage of the cards are fortune versus misfortune?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, there's some that are a little scarier to people, but I think they're all very neutral. So, but some
that's pretty much accurate. Most of the cards are neutral. It depends what's around it. Depends what the question is. It depends what you're looking at, the expectation, the spread you used. That's a black and white thinking that doesn't work with tarot. Misfortune, fortune, it doesn't work that way. Also depends on whether something's reversed or upright. It just kind of depends. Let's keep going.
of them, can definitely be interpreted a lot more. They look a lot scarier than other ones,
Right.
So, because a lot of people, they see the death card and they're like, oh, or like the devil card and they're like, oh, God, and it's like, no, it's not like that, but there's.
Yeah, death and devil are not that bad. So death is usually a really good sign because it's a death and a rebirth. So you actually kind of usually like to see the death card. Again, depends if it's upright or reversed. I know for me, sometimes if like the death is reversed is happening to you, if the death is upright, you're choosing it. So let's say someone gets canceled and you pull a death upright. It's a good sign of them wanting to change themselves. If it's reversed, everyone's forcing it on them. So just like a nice little YouTube connection there. As for the devil card is negativity. It could be sex, could be, sometimes I pulled it for people who are struggling with depression, substance abuse, manipulation, things like that. But in general, what you have to remember about the devil card is that's all around us all the time. So of course it's going to be represented by one of the cards. And it doesn't mean that you're going to succumb to it or be destroyed by it. It just means that there might be a situation where that's around you. And if you think about your everyday life, you're probably like, yeah, that happens to be around me quite often. It's normal. It's human nature.
There's definitely
death isn't like death. It's not like that.
It's not.
It could be the death of something else. Like the death of a bad thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it could be like just it's just a radical ending of something and like the beginning of a new thing. So it's like
Okay.
yeah. And some people read cards like like up and then reversed, and like the reversed is the negative when the up, the upright. I don't really do that. I just kind of try to look at all meanings of the card and like, draw from there.
I definitely don't agree with that. So me personally, I do not think that you can accurately read tarot consistently without the reversal, because it sort of sets the intention for you to get specifics. Me personally, I think you're missing out on a lot of specific information when you refuse to read a reversal. I know a lot of people don't. I don't know how to read without a reversal, because that helps me personally get specific information. So one of the biggest things that people are always like, how are you able to get so specific? It's because of the reversals, because the reversal does have the opposite meaning sometimes. It's not always directly opposite, but for instance, an Ace of Swords upright is a new opportunity for me. An Ace of Swords reverse is a regret or a missed opportunity. I wouldn't be able to read that without the reversal. So,
all right. So here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here it is, guys.
Here it is, guys.
Oh, the sun's coming out, you guys.
Oh, just for you.
Oh, thank God.
for
I needed
you.
something positive.
Okay.
I don't know
So
what that
this
spread
your
is. I
fate
can't really see
laid
it.
out onto this table.
Well, it's my past, my present, and my future.
And then this is a significator. This is you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this will be kind of your main theme throughout all of this.
Got it.
Okay.
So let's start with
Devil.
I know he's
Hermit.
It is the devil.
Coming out
We
strong.
manifested that bitch.
Wait, that's the devil?
Yes.
That's Mr. Bubs.
Sorry.
The Fool. Ooh. Okay, right off the bat, I can tell you. So it's like really hard. You can't really read another reader's cards, but what I can tell you is Hermit is introspection, isolation, which means definitely feel like there has to have been some sort of like come to Jesus moment for her. This usually indicates like Lizzie had a lot of like insight and a lot of learning, and she had to do it by herself. The devil card is negativity, manipulation, sometimes for substance abuse. So typically if I were to look at this, the first thing I would say is, well, the devil calls the hermit. So whatever negativity or substance abuse or sex or whatever this is, depends on I'm not really like, obviously we have to see the rest of the spread, but whatever this is caused the hermit, which is isolation and introspection. It also probably isolated her from other people, or maybe she needed to be isolated from other people to be able to be the star. So the star here would be like being on path. This is also good for someone in front of the camera, learning lessons, shining bright, being authentic. And the Fool is also about being naive. It's also about being childish. So this is a grow up. Like she grew up. She was definitely naive and a risk taker and doing things she shouldn't have done. I also think she may have played dumber than she was to get what she needed. Fool's usually a good indicator of someone that sometimes is like, I'm playing it. Again, it's hard because she doesn't read reversals, so I can't really give you the greatest of, what I see for this, but I'm just literally looking at the cards. I can't read another reader's card.
Wow, you got a lot of
That is the Four of Cups. That's apathy. So that's her significator is apathy. Uh-oh.
major arcana cards, girl. You're in a moment right now.
So her being represented by apathy worries me. Because the Wheel of Fortune is good luck and opportunity for me. So this would be like a huge risk that's paying off. Is that the Five of Pentacles? Oh. It is. So the Five of Pentacles is like new job, new careers, working with new people. So this is totally makes sense. This is the SIP right here. The Star, the Five of Pentacles, this is the SIP. And the Wheel of Fortune is great opportunities. She took the risk. It's working. This is her past negative behaviors and stuff. But the Four of Cups worries me because if she shows up as the Four of Cups, that to me indicates someone who feels like I should be more excited and more happy than I am, but I'm kind of numb. I think part of her is wondering if the rug will be pulled out from under her and she'll fall back to old negative behaviors, devil card, or old crutches, whatever this devil is. And I think she's also like, I should enjoy this. I should be happy, but I don't feel it. I think there's imposter syndrome going on for her. And I think she thought it would feel different than it does. I also think she's probably second guessing a lot of her personal life choices because I think she's looking for fulfillment from outside sources rather than from within. That's just what I would say based off of the cards that I see here. But again, I didn't pull it, so I can't really read them too well. And there's no reversals, but yeah, just my intuition.
Well,
Let's see what she says.
good moment, right?
A moment. Yeah. You're in a moment.
Jesus Lord.
So just give me a minute to kind of, okay. So like I said, this is kind of your past situation.
My
This is
Oh,
past.
so the devil's in your past.
Oh
yeah,
my
in your past. He's in the
God.
rear view, so that's good.
That is good.
We love that. It's
I'm
like,
glad that
don't
you're-
read anymore.
No, we're done.
Let's end on a high note.
We're done here. Yeah, present, future, and then the significator is you.
Okay.
So right now we've got the Four of Cups in the center, and the Four of Cups is like this guy who's like, he's still weighing his options.
Yeah.
Still weighing his options. So you've been in this modality right now where you're just kind of meditating upon everything that's going on around you, and you're
Okay.
still deciding.
I think that's accurate because
Yeah.
I do believe that you could not be like you have a creative direction for your future, but I feel like that direction could be pulled in a few different types of ways, whether that be acting, writing, directing.
That's literally what I was thinking too. Even just genre pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said.
I don't read the Four of Cups that way, but the Wheel of Fortune is a great indicator in the star of her needing to take that leap of faith and do that. In fact, she should probably do all of it.
In your past situation here, we've got the Devil card and the Hermit.
We've said
okay?
goodbye.
I was very
So-
isolated for a while.
The
with
devil, well, and it's really Mr. Bubs is your son, but the devil is kind of about like getting into the dark depths of your desires, your temptations, the things that drive you at the very bottom of your being, So, and it's also, I mean, it can be kind of being in a dark place. Maybe there was some temptations going on, but you're definitely
would you say
finding
that an
about your-
alcohol and drug problem would identify
Oh,
with the?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, she has had an alcohol and drug problem. Okay, I was right.
I mean, temptations, vices, you know, things like that. So, you were dealing with some of those things because you see like these two people, they have these like little chains on them and you have the devil above them. But, the chains are really loose. They can take them off anytime they want.
Yeah.
It's like you can
They
take
choose
it
the
off.
bondage.
They choose the bondage.
So what is
I don't necessarily agree with that. This is why I like reversals, because being upright or reversed and the cards around it will be able to kind of help you figure out whether or not it's something that someone chose or was placed on them. So that's something that I think if she used reversal, she'd be able to tell for sure.
the other
Also, I feel like for me, I would think more like an Eight of Swords would be like a victim or pressure trapped. And then like when you're thinking about making decisions, that's more of like, I don't know, like a Seven of Cups, because that's like many possibilities, or like Temperance, which is like rebalancing and restructuring. So that's just how I read tarot. Everyone reads differently, but that would be for me, if any of you are wondering. I mean, that's the whole point of this, right?
significant in her past?
Okay, so this is the Hermit, and this is like I like to think of this as like kind of the conscious things that are happening, and this is like the subconscious things that are happening underneath. So the Hermit is about like really, again, digging into yourself, like listening, being by yourself, being in your silence, and learning from the silence, and like really trying to listen to yourself and like figure out what's really going on in there. So there was a lot of deep digging
Right.
going on for you.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here like, I wonder if I was ever silent though. I won't shut the fuck up.
So yeah, the Hermit was the introspection, and it's related to the devil. So that's about finding out who she is, and that's battling her inner demons, which clearly she admits she had some sort of substance abuse problem. So that's why the Hermit showed up there. You need to have a hermit to be able to get out of the devil in that situation.
But yeah, you're finding your light. You're getting there. But now you're present.
Well, no, it's just very interesting to look at the card. Like I've seen people do tarot card readings, but it is very interesting to see the imagery on the cards in front and having the bottom be subconscious. What was it?
Yeah, the
Subconscious?
subconscious, and this is like the conscious.
This is also why I pull more cards and work in threes, because you get more information. That's why I'm able to get more information, because when you limit yourself to a spread and a certain amount of cards, you won't always get as much information.
So can we move on to the present conscious?
Yes. So we have the Fool card, and a lot of people are like, oh, that doesn't sound great, but it's the first card in the whole deck, and it's all potential.
Okay.
Like right now, like you've got some opportunities, but this guy, he looks like he's getting ready to fall off a cliff, right? But it's like, but that's the thing about it's the leap of faith, right?
Yes.
Like you are taking a leap of faith right now,
Yes.
and like any project, when you start a project at first, you're like, oh, this is going to be so fun, you know? And it's like, you're not thinking about all the hard work and like all the things that are going to go into it. That'll be good, but it's like, it's not like the fun part of it. You know, it's like when you're on the roller coaster and, you know, you chose to be on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
So the one thing that's kind of, this isn't her fault, but one critique, if I would have a critique, because I don't think she's bad at all. I think she's pretty good. My one critique that I have for her is she needs to connect the cards for the client. So one thing she's doing is she's allowing the client to connect for her. She needs to connect for the client. So it should be like, this means this. Like what I did in the beginning, I was like, this is connected to this, is connected to this. She's kind of allowing Lizzie to do a lot of the legwork, which it might just be for the podcast. I'm not really sure. But that's sometimes a pet peeve of mine. Like sometimes I will stop my client and be like, stop talking. So yeah, that's why like when I do readings for people, it's like, sometimes they're not going to say a lot because I need to get the information out that I'm channeling, and then you can talk after.
It's going to be fun. You're going to love it at the end, but you're like at that point where you're like, tick, 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 at the very top. You're like, oh no, what have I done?
So she's also doing something that I don't particularly care for in tarot readers. I know some people like this, but she's kind of like taking each card and making a story of each card. I'm more of someone that's like, let me just get the information out, precise, tell you what I see and move on. I'm very much about efficiency. So she's doing that thing where she's like, and then you're going to take the leap of faith. And you're going to do, it's like, she's kind of expanding on the card too much. This is something that happens a lot when you're doing like only a limited amount of pulls. So it's like only 7 cards. You have to sort of like fill up the dead space. I don't like that. That's why I like to pull more cards. That's why I like a little bit more precise, because it's just like we're elaborating on a card too much that we already know what it means. You know what I mean? And it's like, it sort of becomes like the theatrical moment, which I know some people like, but I'm more of like a precision, efficient reader. I'm kind of really obsessed with efficiency. I work very quickly. But also, like, to be fair, I do it day in and day out for a career. So it's a little bit easier for me because it's like second nature. It's like a second language, honestly. So it's a little bit easier for me to say that. I'm sure she probably doesn't do it as much as I do. So no hate. I think she's pretty good.
Like, this is crazy. So yeah, that's what's going on for you right now.
True.
But at the bottom, we have the star card.
Great card.
We all know.
The star
A
card.
naked woman looking into a pond.
Yeah.
And
That's me.
and she's all about your
There's a lot of
being, like
edits.
super coming from a place of authenticity and finding your place in the world.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
through your authenticity, through your voice. And it's really in like the star, it's like it's to me, you're like, oh, I just sold a show, like I just did all this stuff. Like
So she's just explaining each card. She's not connecting them. It's sort of frustrating for me to see. She needs to connect the cards to tell the story. She can't just describe each card, because that's what she's doing. She's describing each card. She's not connecting them. So I don't think she's using her intuition enough. She might be nervous, but she's basically just reciting the meaning of the card.
you're the star. Like it's like,
yeah.
oh, you're like, you got a new show, you might be the star. Like it's totally popping. And yeah, it's all about, like I said, that's like listening to that authenticity and letting your light shine in the world. Here you were you're like kind of finding it. It was like over here, but now you're like living it.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget that she showed up as the 4 cups, which for me would be apathy. It's not how she reads it, but I would see it as apathy, and the star is where she needs to be. So that to me is probably a fear of her doing something or crossing the line. Like there's always a fear of like, am I doing too much for attention? I think that's probably another fear.
Now you're living it.
It's a dark light.
It's
It's a black light on a crime scene, but it's a light nonetheless.
But it's a light nonetheless. It's a light nonetheless.
Okay, so moving into the future.
Yes. All right, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune, and
It's
mind
my
you,
favorite slot machine.
there you go. There you go. It's like all of these cards right here. These are major arcana cards, and major arcana.
I do love her outfit, but sometimes it bothers me when tarot readers are like fully done up in the whole like theatrical aspect of it. She's got like the pendant with like the crystal, and she's got like the sun and the moon and the stars and stuff. I mean, I have outfits like that too, but sometimes I'm like, all right, like we don't, because like that's it. Like for instance, when Ethan was like, I want you to give me the full experience, whatever crap that he said. I hate that. The whole point is like, I'm just like all of you. Like I very much want to be a normal person, because I am a normal person. I'm just a channel. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. For me, sometimes like it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine when it's like super theatrical and like, oh my God, like all this, like sometimes I dress up obviously, but also like I want you to see me as a person.
arcana cards are all about like big life things. You know?
So that's another thing that I don't agree with. I don't really think there's much of a difference between the major arcana and the regular. Sometimes slightly, to be honest. But I personally don't agree that if you get a ton of major arcana, it's going to be so big. I don't think so. I think the major arcana just mean what they mean and the other ones mean the other ones. I don't really think so. I don't agree with that. But I know that's probably very, very uncommon to think that. So,
you know, like big turning points in your life. Whereas like the minor arcanas are more about like smaller, mundane,
I don't agree with that at all.
things.
Okay.
So you gotta like, this is a lot of
I definitely don't agree with that at all. Not at all. Not a second of that.
stuff going on for you
Yeah.
right now. So the Wheel of Fortune is all about change and the ups and downs of life. So it's like 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down, and then you're back up again. So
Okay.
you will...
I can see how you can read Wheel of Fortune like that. I definitely don't. For me, it's like a huge opportunity or huge risk that'll either pay off or not, depending on whether it's upright or reversed.
have some sort of, you know, ups and downs coming,
Yeah.
you know, but they're necessary,
Yeah.
you know.
That's also, so that statement, I'm not trying to be rude because I actually like her, but that statement frustrates me because she just said a bunch of nothing. She literally said, you know, it could be, like, let's just listen to that again. Hold on.
So you will have some sort of, you know, ups and downs coming,
Yeah.
you know, but they're necessary.
Yeah.
You'll have a bunch of ups and downs coming, but they're necessary. That is obvious and very much like simple. Like, again, this is why I like more than a certain amount of cards. I like reversals. You get more specific. Like, of course, everyone is going to have ups and downs in their life. Be more specific. So when you're talking to the client, you should know where that up and down is going to come from, which is why I work in threes, because if the Wheel of Fortune is there, then the other two cards will tell me where it's coming from. Let's say the Wheel of Fortune is next to the Queen of Pentacles. You're going to have a huge opportunity in your career. If the Queen of Cups is there, you're going to have a huge opportunity in your relationship. Like, or Lover's card, then the relationship. Like it, or Ace of Cups or Two of Cups or whatever. That's why it's really important, because that's how you get more specific information. So if you are learning tarot, here is my suggestion to you. Pull cards in support of the other one. If you just pull one card, excuse me, it's the truth. If you pull one card, you need to have two others at minimum, or at least one other to support it and to understand what it means. It's called a clarification card. So think of that as like when I pull three, it's clarification.
Yeah.
You know, or if you
Or
find
they're
yourself,
inescapable, really.
they're inescapable. I mean, that's
Yeah.
life. Life is cyclical.
Yeah.
And
Life is a
lessons you'll
cycle.
learn and take with
Ryland's face. To be fair, I don't blame Ryland's face right now because I don't particularly care for the way she described the card. I feel like it was a little bit like a non-explanation, so I don't blame him for having that look.
with you.
Yeah.
Because he's looking a little bit like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could guess right now what the ups and downs are going to be.
The client shouldn't be saying, I think I can guess what the ups and downs are going to be. That shouldn't be what the client's saying.
What?
Yeah, Ryland's face. I don't blame Ryland for that reaction. I think she poorly explained the Wheel of Fortune, which is okay. I mean, I think if she had more cards, she'd be able to give a more specific one. Also, it's hard. You're under a lot of pressure when you're doing these live. I do these live all the time. But when you're doing it for like a celebrity or anything like that, and you don't have a lot of practice with it, there's a lot of pressure. I don't really necessarily blame her. No hate.
No spoilers, though. I do want to just like make a record of it so that when the
Right.
horrible shit does come to
Yeah.
pass, there's the silver lining of I was right.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But
And it feels good. It feels good when that happens.
Yeah.
It feels good when that happens.
I'll write it down on a piece of paper and put it in a lockbox in the house somewhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
then
So
in-
you got some changes coming for you,
Yeah.
you know. Like I said, not necessarily bad changes or
Yeah.
good changes, probably maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
one
like-
immediate.
She just said like four things. You have changes coming to you, not necessarily good, not bad, maybe both. Oh, it's so frustrating. I get it. But there's nothing wrong with what she's doing, but she's definitely not an intuitive reader or a psychic. She's just a tarot reader. And it's frustrating because people will say that about me. And it's like, that's the difference between me and a lot of other tarot readers. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. But when you come to me and the experience that I give is a little bit different because I am psychic.
Immediate change that is a good change is you're about to get married.
Yeah.
So that's a major life change.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that is. That is. For me personally, in these kind of spreads, I always seem to like, there'll be an aha moment where I'm like, oh, I'm in the future part. You
Yeah.
know, like something will happen. Like one time I was.
I'm confused because she said she pulled for the intention for the future. So I'm confused about what does that mean? I thought you knew which card was future because you had a specific spread. Because that's how I work. I can figure, I know what she's saying. Sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, this is the future. I can tell. But she should already know that because that's how I'm confused.
was like the death card was like coming up for me, and I was like, and then I just randomly got this death dealer phone case from Frazetta Girls, and like I snapped it on my phone, and then I looked at it and I realized like death dealer. I was like, oh, I'm in the death.
So she did something that I also dislike about tarot readers. You know, sometimes you reference yourself. Like I will reference things like, oh, I'm familiar with this energy. I've had this experience before. But you quickly reconnect to the client. She's on a whole tangent about herself, which it's not that I don't do that. It's just that I rarely do that in the middle of a reading because it's something you're supposed to catch. Because then it starts to become like, oh, are you reading? Because I've gone to readers who read themselves instead of me, and I was like, cool. So I think what she's doing is probably entertaining for the podcast, but I don't know.
Part I've made it to the future, so like there's for me I don't know,
because I don't even know what she's talking about. I don't know what relevance that has to Lizzie's reading. There was no death pulled,
but if I feel like the universe is always playing games, so if you're like paying attention, you know, there'll be some sort of wheel of fortune.
The synchronicities reveal themselves.
Yes, they will. So be on, you know, maybe you'll be sitting there and the wheel of fortune will be on in the background while so you get some fucking call, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll be
oh, she's saying she's gonna see a wheel of fortune. I mean, your guides will definitely send you signs, or the universe will send you signs, whatever, you know. So, like, yeah, I guess. I just think that that's weird, though. That's like a weird thing to say, like, oh, you'll see the Wheel of Fortune somewhere. I mean, maybe, but Wheel of Fortune is a pretty specific card. Like, it's how many things are going to have a Wheel of Fortune on them. You know what I mean? It's unless, like, the Wheel of Fortune, the show comes on. I don't know. It's a bit strange.
Be like super weird, so like be on the lookout.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I don't know about that one.
This week in Big Bear, we go to a casino.
Today's episode is also supported by Liquid IV, which
is
is
this
one
just
of my
an
favorites.
ad?
You know, I'm big on hydration today, like Immune tea, which is and
There's
other
so many
nutrients,
ads in this.
Fresh. They donate globally and use Liquid IV.
All right, so this is one of those
In her using promo code SIP at liquidiv.com. So in her subconscious, while the Wheel of Fortune is a spinning, what's going on?
Looks like she's cold.
All right, so this is one of those cards that people do interpret as a negative. This is the Five of Pentacles.
Not a negative card in my opinion. So for me, upright is new job or an apprenticeship or learning from someone. Reversed is maybe an imbalance of power or someone using power against someone. But I would not really typically say it's like a massive negative card. I don't agree with that. But everyone reads differently.
And this, I mean, some people call it the poverty card.
No, I just got rich.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like it may not be like a literal poverty situation, but you may feel impoverished in some way. It could be spiritually, it could be creatively, it could be financially, it could be health-wise, but there'll be some.
I don't really get that. Pentacles are usually, so I don't agree with that at all. So pentacles are earthbound things, tangible. Pentacles have to be tangible. That's the whole point of the suit. So pentacles are like tangible, cups are emotions, swords are like cerebral or intellect based or fighting based, and then wands are like passion or aggression. So I don't agree with that at all. I think that's like not something I would agree with. Especially because when I read it, I told you it's a new job and she's clearly got a bunch of new stuff going on. And I think she's probably working on a new project that she hasn't talked about yet. So that's probably what that's representing. Especially with the star, it's basically telling her to green light her new project. I think she might be worried because of who she's working with, the Five of Pentacles. Maybe she wants to work with someone that she's worried about, maybe reputation wise. Maybe I don't even know. Like it could be anything, but I think that there's a fear of adding more to her plate. I think that's what that's probably more represented as. I don't know. I just don't agree with that. Also, like a poverty card, like it doesn't, I don't know. Like maybe Ace of Pentacles reverse would be like losing money. But I don't particularly think Ace of Pentacles reversed would even be like a poverty card. I don't know. I don't really think I would read tarot that way. I don't think I've ever been like, oh, you're like poverty strict. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a bit weird, but my opinion.
Some sort of moment where you feel kind of like exiled and like you don't have enough.
Oh, well, I hate to say it, but never mind.
Say it. What the fuck?
Well, no, you've been your dog has been battling cancer.
yeah.
And that I'm not saying that's for sure going to be it, but like it doesn't have.
So that would be more of a cup situation because cups are emotion.
And what was
Well,
interesting.
that was one of the things I was guessing with the Wheel of Fortune too.
Also, for me, Nine of Pentacles sometimes indicates pets.
Okay.
Yeah, with that card, it's like I'm hemorrhaging money right now. Like weddings are so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It's awful, and I'm about to pay my taxes.
You gotta elope. I feel like I would just elope or something. You know?
That dress.
Cut to you saying you didn't pay your taxes.
No, I pay my taxes now.
Oh, now.
Yeah.
Okay.
good.
Because
It's a new
remember we got in a
thing.
fight about your taxes on the podcast.
Wow. That's
No, that was health
ballsy.
insurance.
Oh.
Oh, I was saying, no, you're right.
But with this card though too,
It got
I mean
darker.
these moments, it's like you see how these people are outside and they're trudging through the snow, but like right here, there's like a nice warm church right there, and they could just go inside of it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they just feel like they can't be in there.
Right.
And so there is shelters.
Yeah, she's reading very literal, very like what the picture looks like. Not a super big fan of that, but I know some people read that way.
It's not like the universe hasn't turned its back on you. It's just like you're not necessarily seeing
Yeah.
the the opportunities or the spaces that you could be in.
And I will say I'm mainly glad the devil is behind you.
Yeah.
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 But I don't know.
Selfishly.
I do feel like if the devil was before me, some fun times would be afoot.
I mean, here's my thing. If the devil card shows up in one of these readings for me, and it definitely has, like on more than one occasion, if I'm going to be in hell, I'm going to have a great time.
Yeah, Montero.
You know?
Devil's not always like necessarily a bad thing. Like devil is temptation, and devil is sometimes taboo. So I mean, sometimes if you're going to a party, I mean, or you're celebrating, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like, again, I can't really comment because the devil has to be next to other things for me to specifically point out where it's coming from. That's why I'm like, whatever. We've already talked about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's her addiction issues or whatever, the substance abuse issues she had that she talked about allegedly. I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just got to like call me by your name. Like, I'm just going to.
I'm trying to stay out of it altogether, but I'll wave you guys away, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, no, thank you. Not for me.
Right.
Like text us from afar. Like, hey, is it done yet? Are you done with the devil?
Yeah.
Well, do you give
What you should be worried about is a tower. Now that's the one you got to worry about.
private readings, or do you do that on your Twitch channel ever? Or?
Sometimes I do. Like, we'll have like little tarot card sessions every now and then, and just like people in the chat, I'll be like, oh, hey, like,
Well, we'll obviously link all of your information in our description section below, but do you want to give the main, like the Twitch and the YouTube channel for people to follow along on your journey?
Yes. If you want more of this, you can follow me on YouTube at Comic Book Girl 19, and then on Twitch. Recently, I've just been doing Sundays, and we've been doing watch-alongs where we watch movies and stuff
done
like
too.
that. And she's done too, and that's at Danica XIX, and that's also my Twitter and my Instagram.
Shout
at
out to her.
Danica XIX.
And after
there
meeting you,
go.
I'm highly considering the teeth jewels.
Yes.
Like, I really like it. I'm feeling like it's a great accessory.
It is, and when it blings in the sun, it just is like, yes.
Is that it?
And like it'll catch in like photos, and I'm just like, ah.
Danica also was a tattoo artist for a long time, and she actually did a lot of Joe's work.
You have lived so many lives.
Yeah.
You know? I like to do all the things.
I love the appetite for life.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yes.
very basic and set in my ways.
And I mean, I love to make merch too, so I brought you a little merch pack.
Yeah, you get a present on my
This-
birthday.
Is that it?
Oh my gosh. I love a
and-
chapstick.
Oh my gosh, those are my Spice Melange CBD. Actually, Lizzie put that in
CBD
that
chapstick?
bag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
CBD
packaged that
chapstick.
chapstick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you can actually get the Spice Melange lip balm by itself. So if you just want to like,
30 grams of CBD.
it's
Okay, well, I think that's it. So shout out to her. I think she did an okay job. Ryland and Lizzie, hit me up. I'll give you a reading if you want. I wish they would have contacted me, but girl, it's fine. I know I'm a nobody, but one day I will be a somebody. So hopefully one day I'll be able to give more readings to more people. But this was really fun, and I really loved reacting to this. Hopefully I taught you guys some things and just gave you my own personal opinion. And it would be an honor to be on this show or any show that ever wants me to be on. So if you're interested, hit me up. Remember to follow me here on YouTube. Hit the bell for notification when I upload next, and subscribe. Also follow me on Twitch because I do stream every day on Twitch, and I'm streaming right now while I record this. Antphrodite, and then TikTok. My TikTok's been doing really well, so go follow me on there as well. Twitter and Instagram, Antphrodite everywhere. Until next time, bye guys.